iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me. Danny Amendola stops by today. Peter King later. Trent Dilfer, too. Eric Dickerson. All sorts of stuff. Just had Andy Reid on. It's great to have Andy Reid on. Where's that Hawaiian Kansas City Chiefs? It was such a great year last year when he won. It almost felt like I think everybody in football was kind of rooting for him because everybody knew he was a great coach, and he just didn't quite have the right quarterback, the signal caller, the trigger guy. And then
it was a feel-good win.
Yes.
Like, no one was really, I don't like to speak in absolutes, obviously, but I didn't feel like anyone was really rooting against the 49ers. But if you didn't have anyone in the Super Bowl, you kind of want Andy Reid to win.
Well, yeah, because it felt like last year the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan was young and Garoppolo was young. A lot of their defensive front is young. Like, they're going to be back. And it was like, you didn't feel that bad they lost. It's like, yeah, they'll be fine. Kyle Shanahan's going to get to a few of these, but Andy Reid's in his 60s. And it's like, okay, you didn't want Andy to go to another Super Bowl and lose again because those of us who appreciate, he's made football better for our eyes.
Right, and the story always has to be told with what you did in the championship games. So you don't want that held against somebody with the greatness that Andy Reid is.
It's funny, like, there have been a lot of coaches that won Super Bowls that aren't in Andy Reid's class. And we do this all the time. We spend so much time. You never won the big game. People just don't understand how many big games Andy Reid was in and won before the Super Bowl last year. Folks, this is not the NBA or baseball where you get 162 or 82 games. Like every Sunday, you go into a 3-game winning streak. I've had players tell me this. You have a 3-game losing streak as a coach, you start losing players, even good teams. You can lose a game, and you can lose back-to-back, but you got to win that 3rd game. Now, Pete Carroll may drive some guys nuts. Seahawks don't lose 3 straight games much.
Well, that's what's so great about the NFL is that every game matters so much.
It's so big. So what I do before these big games, I take a yellow pad, and I write down who I think in order are the 10 best players. And I usually get a 7-3 or an 8-2 split, and I feel they're going to win this game. And I was surprised, I've said this, that Kansas City was only a 3-point favorite. When the game started, I tried to guess the line, and my guess was it would be closer to 5. Be more of a 5-point spread. 4.5, 5, 5.5. It's 3 to 3.5. And so this morning I thought, all right, let's just write down the 10 best players, what I believe in order in this Super Bowl, and here we go.
Number 1.
All right, Patrick Mahomes. Let's not argue about it. Last 26 games, he's won 25, 60 touchdowns, 12 picks in that space. He is has the best winning percentage, 83% of any quarterback in the Super Bowl era. So he would be the best player in this game. Okay, best player is Patrick Mahomes. The second best player would be Tom Brady. Let's just stop the nonsense. You didn't think he was going to be here. Okay? And since week 14, he's absolutely on fire. 7-0 and a passer rating of 111. So as Tom has learned the system, most of us predicted, you did, I did, they would be better offensively late than early. That was clearly the case, except for that Saints loss at home. So Brady's the second best player. He's also... The 2 quarterbacks also take the most snaps, have the ball, and will direct the most traffic. So they're very influential.
Number 3
would be Travis Kelce. I think he's the best tight end potentially in 5 or 6 more years we've ever seen. Most receiving yards in a season by a tight end in NFL history, including the playoffs. In the playoffs this year, when he's been targeted, Patrick Mahomes' passer rating is 144. I think he's the toughest matchup in the NFL. There's guys that are faster, there's guys that are bigger, but I don't think there's a linebacker that can cover him, and I don't think there's a safety that can bring him down or a corner. So I'd say Travis Kelce is the unstoppable weapon as number 3.
Number 4.
I'd go Tyreek Hill, fastest player in the league. You have to bracket him. Last time Tampa faced him, it was absurd. He had 270 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was the best day by any player playing wide receiver in the NFL. He has that look sometimes. If you ever go to a high school game and there's like one kid that's going to be a college player and it doesn't look fair, he's just faster than everybody. Tyreek Hill in the NFL is just faster than everybody. And if he gets rolling on the outside, he makes corners look slow. I'd say Tyreek Hill 4.
Number 5.
Mike Evans. Brady fell in love with him fast, and Mike Evans is fantastic. Only player in NFL history, Mike Evans, wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, to have 1,000-plus receiving yards in each of his first 7 seasons. He came out of Texas A&M. He's big. He can run. He's strong. And the frustrating part to defending Mike Evans, you can have him covered, but he's an NBA player. You're 6'7", he's long, he can jump. So, I mean, even watching practice footage, he looks like an NBA guy out there. He's just a problem. You can defend him well. Those are the guys that are legends. You got him defended well. You got Walter Payton, the late, great Walter Payton, got him cornered, and he picks up yards. You can defend Mike Evans well, and he still makes plays.
Number 6.
The most instinctive player in this game, Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. I put him in here, and I may have him higher than others. Pro Bowler last 2 years. The only player that I can think of in my lifetime that is as instinctive, literally is always around the ball, is Ed Reed for the Ravens. Those players in my lifetime have an ability to sniff the play. If you watch footage of Kansas City's defense, he is just staring at the eyes of the quarterback. He'll move from the left side of the field to the right side of the field. One of 4 players with 20-plus picks in the last 5 years. I think he is so incredibly valuable, and most of the stuff he does is not the fastest. He came out of LSU. He wasn't a number 1 corner. He's not really a safety. He's not big enough to be a linebacker. He is just great football player. That's what he is. He is a great football player.
Number 7.
Chris Jones, a total disruptor for the Chiefs on the defensive front. Second most sacks by any defensive tackle in the last 3 years except Aaron Donald. Again, he's just very hard to singularly block. He's aggressive. He's a personality. He's a trash talker. And you saw it in Buffalo. They just struggled to block him. And so he is a defensive tackle. There's only 2 or 3 in the league. There's Fletcher Cox. There's Aaron Donald. There's Chris Jones. You look at tape. You have got to figure out extra people to block him on the interior, or he will sack your quarterback. Most interior linemen don't get to the quarterback. He's the highest graded defensive player the Chiefs have, according to Pro Football Focus.
Number 8.
Levante David, linebacker. Again, very instinctive, highest graded linebacker for either team. He's essentially a tackle machine. 20-plus sacks, 1,000 tackles, and 100 tackles for loss since entering the league. He's the only player with those numbers. So he'll be around the ball. He'll get somebody behind the line of scrimmage. He'll end up with 11 tackles. His number will be called as much as anybody's number playing defense Sunday.
Number 9.
Vita Vea, defensive tackle who missed a big part of the year. In the 6 games he played for Tampa, they allowed 60 yards rushing. He is, just look at it, he's impossible to move. He's a little short. He came out of Washington. He didn't have the perfect size and dimensions and length. He has been great since he entered the league. He is a problem, and there is no question that Green Bay, we thought they were going to come out and kind of have their way running the ball against Tampa, and no, Vita Vea was back, played limited snaps. This game, he should be all in.
Number 10.
Shaq Barrett, Tampa, another great player. Led the NFL in sacks last 2 years with 31. 3 sacks against the Packers. He's what everybody is trying to get in the draft. Hey, can you get the quarterback? Doesn't have to be a perfect player. Can you get the quarterback? Yeah, I can. 30 sacks last 2 years, 31. So it's 5-5 in my 10. 5 Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs have a majority of the top 7 players. What's interesting, if I went 11 through 15, I would have 4 Bucks and 1 Chief. 11 through 15, I would go Antonio Brown, Bucks, JPP, Bucks, right tackle Tristan Wirfs, Bucks, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Chiefs, Ali Marpet, the offensive lineman, for the Bucks. So as you look at it now, the Chiefs have more great players. The Bucks, to me, have a greater depth of talent. And that, plus being in Tampa, is why this is a field goal game. Because I think Tampa has more high-end players, but in terms of great players, the Chiefs have more. That's my takeaway. I still like Kansas City, but I get the close thing. And then when you take out Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, that's where that keeps Andy Reid up. That's like, okay, this was going to be kind of scrappy regardless, but The safeties are back for Tampa. The tackles are out for Kansas City, and that explains your field goal game. Because many of you, the wise guys like Kansas City, but the majority of the bets, more bets are on Tampa, and that's why. Peter King's around the corner. Eric Dickerson, too, on a Tuesday. This past year saw cyber crime and cyber security attacks really explode. It's actually getting worse. Data breaches, network infiltrations, bulk data theft and sale, ransomware outbreaks. It's just the world we live in now. A recent study suggests that remote workers have become the source of a lot of it now. Meaning you're at home, right? You're not protected by the big corporation at home. LifeLock is a leader in identity theft protection. They detect a wide range of threats, and if they detect your info potentially been compromised, they send you an alert. They can see threats you'd miss on your own. Join now and save up the
Number 8.
Levante David, linebacker. Again, very instinctive, highest graded linebacker for either team. He's essentially a tackle machine. 20-plus sacks, 1,000 tackles, and 100 tackles for loss since entering the league. He's the only player with those numbers. So he'll be around the ball. He'll get somebody